The question was, how do you keep an organization, presumably we're talking about Freedom Force, from being subverted, such as the Cato Institute apparently has been? And it's an issue that is very important, and we gave a lot of thought to it. How do you prevent an organization from losing its original purpose? And the answer, in my opinion, is to make very clear that your original purpose is spelled out in minute detail and made a part of the founding documents. That was not done in the case of the Cato Institute. It was not done in most of the foundations of which I'm aware. I'm thinking of a couple where there have been living donors who have given large amounts of money to various organizations supposedly to promote the concept of free enterprise or sound money. And over a period of time, members of the board of directors have died and been replaced, and new people have come on, and all of a sudden the board of directors is representing an entirely different view. And since the founding document did not specify what the purpose of the organization was, except in some general term, like promote free enterprise, what does that mean? You know, you can promote free enterprise by endorsing the totalitarian system, worded clearly. So our answer to that is to be very clear on what we are for, and that is why we spend so much time and attention to the creed of freedom. If in the future, whoever is running Freedom Force adheres to the creed of freedom, there is no way in the world that can be interpreted any other way than the way it says right now. And the members of Freedom Force, one of the rules of conduct we have is not to trust your leaders. All right? That's one of the things. The fact is, I've forgotten if it's number 1 or number 2, but it's right up there at the top. And we expect our members to watch our leaders like hawks to make sure that they adhere to the creed of freedom. So that's how we intend to tackle that problem. Yes?
Do you think the crashing of the dollar will allow for us an opportunity to take back our currency from the Federal Reserve?
I didn't hear the question. Do I think the crash went?
Do you think the crashing of the dollar will give us an opportunity to take back our currency from the Federal Reserve?
Do I think a crash in the currency will give us an opportunity to take back currency from the Federal Reserve? No, because we don't have the power to do so. That's my message. We may want to do so. We may say, now it's time to take back our currency, but what power do we have to take back our currency? See, we are powerless. All we have the power to do is complain about it. The only people who have the power to take back our currency is the Congress of the United States. And we do not control the Congress. Until we get these congressmen replaced with true Americans, we cannot do anything. See, that's my message. The people who do have the power would use that as an excuse to bring in the emerald, which is a new currency representing the United States, Canada, and Mexico. That's what will happen, and we will just be able to do nothing because we do not have the power. Okay, that's my message. That's why it's important for us to get into the power centers of society before we can do anything. All right, I didn't mean to get excited.
Sir, I hate to disagree with you, but here we have the power. It's in front of us now. He has yet to lose, despite what the mainstream media is telling us. Ron Paul, OBGYN Dr. Ron Paul, who's delivered over 4,000 babies, and is in the process of delivering to us our Constitution. He's on the ballot. He's a force that's happening. It's still going on. And so I wonder why I agree, with so much what you say. What is behind you and seemingly, this guy, the People's Foundation and others, just want to boo-boo, oh, Dr. Paul, he's, just, look at you guys. This is happening now. This is a chance for us to express our understanding of the Constitution. These are citizens all over the country. What about you for taking hold of this organization? They're run this organization all over the country.
Okay, okay, I got your point. I got your point. And your point is well taken. Your point is well taken. And I made a misimpression if I created the impression that I don't don't think supporting the Ron Paul movement is a good idea, because I am the biggest supporter of the Ron Paul movement you're ever going to find. What I am saying is that that alone is not enough. Getting one man elected one time is not enough. We have to take this effort, this energy, and multiply it. We have to get 1,000, no, 10,000, no, 100,000 candidates in office at the local level.
Okay, that's the Ron Paul movement.
That's the Ron Paul revolution. I endorse it.
Well, you spoke earlier of the conspiratorial view of history. If I admit that the conspiratorial view of history is 90% true, will you entertain the suggestion that the conspiratorial view of history is 90% unprovable, at least to the standards of proof required in a court of law?
No. I believe that the conspiratorial view of history is 90% provable in a court of law. If you are allowed to access the evidence and interview the witnesses, I believe that the conspiratorial view has already been proven in the court of history. I think any history book of any great, anyway, in the past, current history books are not too hot on this, but ancient history books are pretty clear that the conspiratorial view of history is the correct view. And I would welcome the chance to go into a court of law and defend that point of view. I think it'd be easy.
Oh, thank you.
So 10:30, so we have about 6 people, so just, you know, we get everyone.
I've heard from different sources over a long period of time that some of these groups you've spoken of have plans for drastically reducing the Earth's population. Do you have any information on those lines?
Yes. I'm not an expert on that, but I think any Google search on the internet will get you to quite a bit of rather reliable-looking information, at least. I haven't checked it out personally, but I think that the Rockefeller Foundation in particular and some of the eugenics organizations are pretty clear on their public records that they want to see that the Earth's population is greatly reduced.
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood. A lot of organizations have got this goal in mind, and bear in mind that they're doing this for your good. You understand? They will state that this is necessary for sustainable growth or for peace or something like that, or to sustain the environment. They always have some good reason for it. But I think it's pretty clear that there are very powerful groups, well-funded, that have as a goal the reduction, major reduction of the Earth's population. Now, you can just stop with that if you wish and say, well, that's bad or that's good. But there's a hidden issue there. And that is the question of how this is going to be done. The implication of most of these groups, the implication of this strategy, is that it's to be done by some agency or some authoritative source which has the power to decide who is going to survive and who is going to be eliminated and when. It's sort of never talked about, but it's implied. And usually it's considered to be a government agency that will make that decision. And now I get really scared, because it's not just somebody having an opinion anymore about how many people should be on the planet, but they're talking about giving legislative power to governments, international governments perhaps, which will be able to come into any community and say, well, all the old folks over 65 years of age are no longer really desirable on this planet, and of course anybody with any disease history is not desirable, anybody with an infirmity is not desirable, and anybody who thinks like I do is not desirable. That kind of scares me a little bit. So I'm not sure that's the answer we were wanting, but there's a lot of information about that issue on the internet. If anybody's interested, I'm sure you can find it quite useful.
If we were to take for truth the notion that the official fable of 9/11 is not true, it wasn't carried out by Al-Qaeda, perhaps it was carried out by the network to speak of as a broader part of this new world order agenda. I was wondering if you, I know we can't know this, but if you were to hypothesize or theorize, or just give us your opinion as to any individuals or any of these roundtable groups that you think might have been responsible for this at the eye level of the pyramid. Thank you. Your lecture was great.